Hello and welcome to the mill. I'm your host, Dusty Crane, and we got a full house of hosts this week. So I am going to start with the introductions and say hi, Carol.
Hey, everybody. We are all here and ready to go with some excitement.
All right. And hello, Molly.
Hello there. Super excited. It's been a pretty big week for Stonemeyer news.
It really has. And, you know, this all is kind of, we're talking about the February 2023 Stonemeyer Games e-newsletter that just came out, and it was a doozy. The week prior, Jamie had sent out an email. I don't remember if it was to ambassadors and champions, and technically I'm not supposed to talk about that stuff. But anyway, in there, he said, there was one line that says, you know, on February 1st, we have a massive reveal. And I thought, man, Jamie does not like hype. So if he's telling us that something is massive, it's got to be pretty big. And
oh yeah, he totally brought that up in the live cast too the week before. There was going to be something big.
Yeah, I would say the word massive was well put, though, because it was two things, not just one announced.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much. I mean, yeah, I mean, kind of like the two main product lines, right? Like we got a new pre-order, like a legitimate pre-order where it's like, hey, this thing isn't even made yet. We just need to know how much stuff to make. You know, kind of learning the lessons from, you know, the Wingspan nesting box, how it's already on its third printing, which is, it's awesome that it's been that successful. But I think we saw you know, some disappointment with folks that were saying, well, I didn't even know it was available yet, or, you know, the first run kind of sold so quick that they're like, well, I can't be here, you know, the minute it drops to get my orders in. So I think the pre-order system is a really good way to go about addressing, you know, how much to order.
Yeah, there are so many people. I've seen it a lot on the Discord. I've seen it on the Facebook groups. They're so excited that it's a legit pre-order so they can plan, since it's a Scythe sequel. So it was definitely a good spot to do the pre-order again.
Yeah.
I think the pre-order is going to, the pre-order is going to be really great. You can just lock it in, know you're getting it. It's just pure excitement while you wait for, June, July, or August, I think he said it would arrive to us. And you even have a few weeks to lock it in before those numbers are sent off to his, what's the word I'm looking for? Manufacturers.
Yeah.
It really just seems like a stress-free way to do it.
I think so. I think, you know, I've said before, I think one of the hardest parts about getting those numbers right is that if you print too many, you're paying to store it, and if you print too few, you know, then you have people that think it's artificial scarcity, or, you know, that there's something diabolical going on, like there's some advantage to not selling products from your business. But yeah, how did we bury the lead? Scythe gets a sequel. Expeditions. It's you know, Jamie mentioned, you know, people have been pestering me for ages. Guilty as charged. I'm like, I don't care. At this point, I'll take puzzles. I'll take storybooks. You know, I know Yaka made some puzzles there. I think they're only in Poland, but you know, I was just like, at this point, someone goes, really, Dusty, you'll buy anything Scythe, even a Scythe frozen TV dinner? And I said, you know, I'm not ashamed to admit that's probably true.
You realize something like that has to happen now. We're looking at an April Fool's future product just for Dusty.
Yes.
I agree with you, Dusty, though. I mean, even my first board game wall art was a Scythe print. It's just something about that world. It's so beautiful and so interesting. You want to just get as much as you can.
Well, I think the other important thing with that pre-order is the fact that there's two different editions coming. So, I mean, I can't even imagine trying to predict how much to make if you have two different editions.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's a good segue into the fact that we do have two editions, that we have the Ironclad in the standard edition. And Carol actually is able to bring this up on screen. So she's going to go ahead and do that and kind of talk through some of the differences between the Ironclad edition of Expeditions and the standard edition.
Yeah, just give me 1 second to get the right tab here. Here it is.
All right.
And there we are. So what we are looking at here, this is the Stonemeyer Scythe with the Ironclad edition. And as you're looking, I'll just kind of lead you through this because some of it is kind of buried in here. So if you can tell it's a pre-order, you can add it to your cart. Goes through the basics here. Base game, 16-90 minutes, 10-minute setup, 1 to 5 players. And then when you're at the bottom, you have your description, the estimated schedule. So as Molly was saying earlier, hopefully they really want it to hopefully be at Gen Con. So we're hoping for a summer release. At the bottom, it also has the other pre-orders, which we'll get to those metal coins, but I'll show you since they're here. Then one thing we really wanted to make sure we showed you is, so this is the description. When I click on what's in the box, you'll also see there is a rendering of the pieces. And if you click on available download, you can actually look at the full multiplayer rulebook and the Atama rulebook. All you have to do is click on download and you'd be able to see that too. So if you're not sure, you can get a really good idea of the gameplay between this picture and being able to read the whole rulebook. Is there anything else you guys wanted me to show on this page before I click out of it?
No, I think that's a pretty good description of the Ironclad version.
Yep. Then here's another Board Game Geek page, rules page, and yeah, where to get on the
I just
website.
wanted to, we should mention the differences between the standard and the Ironclad edition.
Mm-hmm.
With the standard having plastic mechs, the Ironclad has metal mechs. There's also, if you like that first print numbered one, that is on the Ironclad edition with a foil embossed Ironclad word, I believe he said.
Yes.
And the final version is the bases for the mechs are silicone in the Ironclad edition. I believe that's all the differences.
Yeah, I think it was just the kind of the snaps and the material that the mechs are made out of. One of the things that I'm really excited about seeing those plastic mechs is, even with Scythe and the mechs being, what I would consider normal mini size, the detail in that people were able to put into their minis, beautiful work. And now Jamie had posted a picture of these expedition mechs next to the Scythe mechs, and they just tower over the Scythe mechs. I cannot even imagine what these artists are going to do with these giant canvas to work with.
Yeah, and one thing I just thought of today I'm excited about is in Scythe, the mechs are tied to the player color. But in this game, you actually choose a player and a mech for your game. So when we see the people painting them, the mechs are going to be so creative because the colors aren't going to be a set palette. We'll just be able to see people's beautiful custom work however they want to do it.
Yeah, it'll kind of be like Scythe where you have your mech mat, just like you had the 2 different mats in Scythe. You had your player mat and you had your mat where you could do all your actions. This one, it's going to be, you're going to have your mech mat, and then you'll also have your player and companion cards. So it'll be really cool to once again have that ability to kind of mix and match, but in a different way with the colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is interesting too, with this being kind of I'm really terrible with naming mechanics in games, but if this is kind of like a hand builder, it's really interesting how they're using the starting, the player you get in your companion, how they're using those as resources to play. It's really cool how Expedition has these multi-purpose cards, that can be used in many different ways.
Yeah, it sounds like there's definitely some of that inspiration from Concordia with that hand management and being able to more pick up your cards and play them again. So I'm really looking forward to getting that one on the table.
Me too, and I'm excited that the animal companions have their own card and they get a bit of spotlight.
Right. Yeah, they're not just attached to the mech or the player character. And really, with the launch of this, one of the things that Stonemeyer started doing that I just absolutely love is the kind of the trailer, like a movie trailer that kind of lays out the story or gives you an idea how the game plays. it's such a cool one with expeditions too, is you kind of, you get the idea that you're listening to the reading of a correspondence, and towards the end of the letter, when the person who's doing the voiceover says, "Bring your bear," you know, you get the impression that he's talking to Anna, and we're gonna see more story from these characters. Now, Scythe itself, you know, we kind of think in terms of, we got the story in the Rise of Fenris, and that was the campaign, and that's where you kind of got a lot of story. But the art book that came with the original game of Scythe talks about, you know, a lot of the world building that Jakob had put into the world in 1920 plus. And you get even more here with this trailer. And he, you know, the person reading, or the person that wrote this letter to Anna, is talking about the Tunguska effect, or event, where a meteor crashes in, and then we're starting to see art, you know, where there's this corruption. And it's one of those things that's fun about Stonemeyer games, or really following any, you know, if you have an artist that's associated with a company, is how, you know, looking back, we can go to Jakob's Instagram or his art station and see what's most likely art from this game, you know, and he's talking about this Tunguska event and how important it is to the world in 1920 plus. And, you know, and there's a lot of history also that goes through the Iron Harvest video game, and they have their own Wikipedia, and it talks about some of these events too, and the corruption. But watching that trailer, watching that video, like, was just kind of, I mean, it was Scythe, so for me that was very special. But, you know, I guess, what were your impressions of that trailer? Did it get you hyped? I mean, sorry, can't use the hype word.
Yeah.
Did it get you excited?
We don't hype around here.
Right.
But I guess, I mean, we're the mill, so we can be excited and hyped, because oh my gosh, the graphics on that trailer, and how they animated the cards and did the close-up with the cards, but then also integrated in with the story and the mechanics. So I was like, the integration there was, it was like board game and English nerd out for me. Just the beautiful integration with story. And yeah, I was going in with the color symbolism over on Discord, because, oh my gosh, it was just very exciting.
I really loved it too. I love world building and lore, and I feel like it gave a really instant jump into the 1920 plus world, which we're used to thinking of as the Scythe world, but it's just this whole world he's created. And like you said, there's Iron Harvest, the video game, which I learned today that there's some stuff about the corruption in there. So now, for the first time in my life, I feel I need to play a board game to better, or play a video game to better understand a future board game. Right. It's really exciting for me. I love it. I love Scythe too. It's what got me into Stonemeyer, and I'm just super excited for this game.
It is honestly what got me into Stonemeyer games too. It was actually, I saw it was a Gizmodo article, and I think Jamie saw the same one, and it was talking about the art of Jakob, and Jamie ended up, you know, being inspired to make Scythe for it. So really, Scythe is where it started for me too. But, you know, like Carol mentioned, the rule book for Expeditions is available to take a look at, not only for the multiplayer, but for the solo mode. But you noticed something, Molly. You noticed something in the component list that got you all excited about it. You want to go ahead and talk about that?
Yes, so I might be in the minority here, but I noticed in the component list there is an achievement sheet. And the achievement sheet was one of the things that really drew me into Scythe. It felt like such an above and beyond component to add, just like a fun little twist. I still have mine. It still gets filled out. We changed the years a little bit on who have first to win each year won. It's something Stonemeyer repeated with my little Scythe. And I'm super happy that Jamie remembered to keep it going in the Scythe tradition. I'm hoping it's a very robust achievement sheet.
Yeah, that would be. I always thought that was really cool too, because to be honest, most of the attention I paid to it was in My Little Scythe. But just the creativity and the different, things that you document, hey, we did this one. I mean, that's one of the cool things about writing down scores. I mean, I love my, digital phone app that keeps track of all the scores. And, if I want, who was there, where we played, if I wanted to, how long it took. But there's just something about putting it in writing and having it in the box and kind of having that artifact. I guess Jamie calls them the artifacts of prior games.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. My little Scythe is where I noticed it too, because my son found it and he wanted to be able to put his name on it because I think he got to do the first one when we got it. So I didn't even realize it was in Scythe, and I got all excited about the achievement sheets in my little Scythe. So yeah, that's going to be fun to break that out again.
Yeah, definitely. I debated, I talked to you guys about it. I debated whether or not I was going to say anything prior. When Jamie said, I have a massive announcement, I sent him an email. I was like, I think I'm a student of Stonemeyer, and I thought I had a pretty good idea of what this reveal was going to entail. So I'm just going to go ahead and read just some of, because it was a full written page and it's paragraph after paragraph. And I told Jamie, hey, I wrote this guess, and he goes, I don't want to see it until after I do the reveal. So the first paragraph, just real quickly, goes, the February 1st product announcement has to be Expeditions, right? Using a new pre-order method to determine the size of the first print run, because how do you gauge interest in your evergreen classic side that still sits in the BGG top 20 almost 7 years later? Now, one thing I did get wrong is I thought this was going to be a blind box where Jamie just said, hey, this is side sequel, or maybe he tells us it's Expeditions, but that we weren't going to get a lot of information. But that it was going to, one thing I did get right, I goes, this will be a pre-order for a game that we won't have in our hands for 3 to 4 months. But this will answer the question of, did we print enough so that before the, all this takes place before the final print run is finalized. So it was February 22nd, I believe, that they're going to go ahead, and pre-orders are unlimited until February 22nd. So as many copies as the public wants to buy. It's also open to game stores. As many people as want to buy up to February 22nd. And then after that, they're going to snap the line and they're going to print over that. So right now, Jamie had mentioned they've sold 4,000 copies as of, the very first.
Whatever he did, he put in the blog post earlier today. So at some point today.
Okay. Yeah. So in today's blog post, and we're actually filming this on Thursday, on that blog post, he says, that there's 4,000 copies sold. So let's say they stopped right there, but he knows it's going to do okay. Maybe you go ahead and say, okay, we're going to print 4,000 for them, and then we're going to print another 20,000 or whatever that number is. That's usually, within their limits. So I got the pre-order piece right for the final numbers. And then because I thought this was going to be a blind box, I just had some guesses there. But so I also did not guess that there was going to be an Ironclad option. However, I did guess that there were going to be metal mechs as an option. I said questions I fully expect to be asked in the live stream where he announced it that I unfortunately was not able to attend was, will there be a rubber mat? And there's not a mat today, and it's kind of a modular situation there with the board there. You have 3 different areas there. You got the south and the central and the north, I think, are the 3 different.
Yeah, and you have like the base camp at the bottom.
Yes. Yeah. And I thought even like a rubber base camp would be really cool. The rubber mat there. But I don't know if that's enough to really justify, I feel like that probably wouldn't even be worth printing, but what do I know? We'll see. But I said metal mechs. I mean, there has to be, right? Of course there will be. The question will be asked, will it be on Board Game Arena? And of course, that'll be up to Board Game Arena. Will there be an app? Of course, there's going to be an app. I'm sure no one's signed on yet, I'm sure. But one question that hasn't been asked, but I would imagine, at least that I haven't seen, is like, will this be another title that shows up at Target? Like Rolling Realms did, or like, Red
Rising, Wingspan.
Right. Yeah. Sorry to mention Target, Molly. I didn't mean to do the Canada Target thing. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I can pretend I know.
Okay.
You can go to a Target when you come in May.
Yeah,
Right.
sounds good.
Yeah. But you know, for all this expedition stuff that's fun, it wasn't all the news we got. There was also talk of the Rolling Realms promo, and you know, I think I will let you guys talk about the Rolling Realms promo, and if I have anything, and if you want to talk about the Tapestry reveal that we got, that would be, there's a couple of pieces of news there too. I'll let you guys take it away if you'd like.
Yeah, so I think all that we really found out was, obviously it's a new game, so there's going to be a new Rolling Realm, which I believe we also can pre-order right now. The one caveat that Jamie did mention in his live cast was that it will say Expedition instead of Expeditions, because there is a whole story that I won't go through all of it. If you go back and watch the live cast on YouTube from this past Wednesday, that'll say it best. But essentially they had to slightly change the title because of another game coming out, but they already had the Rolling Realms promo printed. So that's pretty much all we know. There is one. It just says Expedition instead of Expeditions. And that's pretty much all we know about Rolling Realms.
And that it's a pre-order with the same launch date of Expeditions. So when you buy one, when you pre-order one, you can pre-order the other and they'll come together for you. I guess we should say actually that if you pre-order anything on the Stonemeyer store and bundle it with something that they currently have in stock, they will wait until the pre-ordered item is available. So keep that in mind, everyone. Keep your orders separate between pre-order and stuff in stock now if you want your things to arrive right away.
Yeah, that's a really good reminder.
Yes,
and that also like kind of leads into the fact that we also found out that the third and final Tapestry expansion is Fantasies and Futures, which we're going to find out design diaries on starting February 20th, because Jamie didn't want too much happening this week since we were getting all the expeditions details. So February 20th is the day where we really find out more about that. And then we'll have a launch date for that of March 1st, when that'll actually be in the warehouses and you can get it right then and there. Hence also, once again, you're not going to bundle that with any pre-order stuff if you're waiting till March.
Yeah. And you know, there was also one of the most fascinating things. Now, full disclosure, the three of us have our copies of the expansion, not expeditions, just the expansion, for Tapestry. And you know, I'm gonna do an unboxing, and I put it in quotes, and now it's out there. We know that this expansion is actually going to come in an envelope, you know, that's part of the process of being more eco-friendly, but also Jamie acknowledging that all of this, it's a more stuff expansion, so all of this stuff is going to fit in the base game box. But also there's talk of, you know, something, the organizer there, and now there's pictures of that floating around. Was there anything you know, that we've seen just in that very brief announcement there that was you know, noteworthy to y'all?
Jamie did mention that there would be new civs, new tech cards, and new Tapestry cards, but that was all the details we got. He mentioned there was going to be a little bit more to it, but he wasn't going to go into those until the diaries.
I think the eco-friendly envelope's great, and I loved hearing him say that they'll just slap the shipping label on it when they send it out. It'll help people let it go and just put the components in their Tapestry box. It's good for the environment, and you won't have an empty box that we're all starting to wonder what to do with, all our empty Stonemeyer boxes.
That has to cut down on shipping too, right? So
yeah,
that has to be a win-win.
Cost and speed, I would bet. The last thing I would want to mention about Tapestry is I've seen a few questions about it, and this Fantasies and Futures expansion is not the rebalanced civs from the core game and the first two expansions. Those are coming later in the year still. They're still working on those. But now we know they probably will come in the eco-friendly envelope like this. So those should get to us fast when they're ready.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great way to go about it, because I mean, I've started to get rid of boxes as space has made necessary, but it was so hard because we're board gamers, so we hear all these stories about people like, well, I'm gonna mount the box on the walls, or I'm gonna make a shadow box, or I'm gonna go ahead and just cut the lid off and make a a framed image or something like that. Having that paper envelope there, and the shipping envelope, it is a thick envelope, and again, like, I don't know that ours came how everyone's is going to ship. Mine shipped completely fine, which you'll see in the unboxing, which we'll put up just as soon as we can here, which will be the end of the month. But everything was shipped securely. But that's a great way to do it when you really do fully intend for it to just be discarded. And we learned at some point, when Jamie was talking about the eco efforts, that Stonemeyer is undergoing, that the shiny cover on these games is actually like a sprayed, I don't know, like a thin layer of plastic itself, just to provide that shine. So I mean, if you slap a sticker on an envelope, I don't think anyone's going to be like, how do I save this envelope?
Yeah, to help us let it go.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Dusty, you can call it an unenveloping.
Unenveloping.
We'll just make up words now, right?
We might as well.
I have a kitty.
Was unboxing a thing before? Before
I
social
should say
media?
too, mine made it to Canada and it was in perfect shape too. I know probably won't have 100% success rate, but mine was really good.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I do have some concern, just due to the fact that, like, I can't tell you how many times I've ordered pictures from the school, like school pictures, and they're in an envelope that says do not fold or do not bend, and a postal carrier still bends it. So I do have a little bit of concern there. Now, certainly Stonemeyer, they have lots of experience with replacement parts, and everyone's going to get, everything that they ordered in the condition that they want it to be. But that would be my only concern. Is I think you're right. I think that it won't be 100% just due to that. But at the same time, we see full-blown boxes getting holes punched through them and stuff getting ruined. So I guess that's just par for the course.
Yeah, at least this way there won't be anyone asking for a replacement box. So that's nice.
That's true. That's true. So geez, I'm looking through our bullet list here. Did we miss anything? Is there anything else you wanted to talk about here?
I just want to quickly say, I think when Carol was sharing her screen, we said we would get to the coins and we never did. I don't want to leave people hanging on that.
Oh yeah,
5 coins.
Yeah. Let's I guess we don't necessarily need to bring it up. We can put something up in post or something, but are you able to share that, Carol? Oh, I
can share if I keep talking. It might show it. How similar the old ones looked. I have the old 5 and 10 here, and so the new Scythe metal coins, the 5-piece, will be red tinted. It looks really, really nice, actually. And so if anyone buys the new set of metal coins, which we should say, neither of the Expeditions versions will have metal coins. It's just metal or plastic mechs. But anyone who wants to add on the metal coins, they'll get the new red version of the 5. And then you're able to buy just the 5s if you want that, if you're someone like me who already has a set of metal coins.
Yeah, and I did notice that it said Scythe and Expeditions. Has Jamie mentioned whether or not that is just the new metal coins, like going forward, that anyone, whether you're buying it for Scythe or Expeditions, you get those red coins?
I'm pretty sure that's pretty much what he said, that they just moved to those because they had so many people tell them, and that he had noticed that the 5s and the 10s were so similar. Unless maybe I don't know if they still have old stock, but I think that's just what they're going with.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But I think that takes care of everything we had for you this week. Thank you so much for joining us. And I will go ahead and hand this off. But again, thank you so much, and take care of yourselves and each other. Thanks for watching. Molly?
Yep. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching the mill. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks. Hope you guys are excited as we are about all this news.